Okay, so again, the topic we have right now, it's about some pitfalls you can avoid as a startup. Some pitfalls you can avoid as a startup. All right, this is very important. If you want to scale, if you want to succeed and scale in business, there are some things you need to avoid when you are starting up, or there are some things you need to get right when you are starting up. Okay, so the first one is ignorance. Ignorance. You have to avoid by all means ignorance. What does this mean? It means that you can't go into business. You can't start up any business without having a knowledge to an extent of what you want to do. You must, as a matter of responsibility, your own responsibility, as you're going into business, you must have an idea, you must have a knowledge of what you are going into business to do, or what you are going into business with. To an extent, you must have an idea. Though we talk about you begin to learn and grow as you proceed. But so ignorance is one thing you have to avoid. It's something you have to see as a pitfall, and you have to avoid it if you want to, be successful and scale in business. Very important. So number two is not having a clear audience in view. Not having a clear audience in view, you may be deceiving yourself, because the truth is not everybody may be interested in your product, in your service. You can't sell to everybody in the world, and so you have to carve out by identification a portion of the population who may be interested, who you know that will be interested of the product you are bringing to the market, of the service you are putting forth. And you know this by research. You know this by research, by finding out what the people want, what the people need, what is the problem the people are passing through. And that is what you should package, in your product as a solution to solve that problem. So you must have a clear vision of audience, of a target audience in view. Going into business is very important. So number three is laziness. You cannot expect to be successful in business if you're lazy. You can never be successful in business if you are lazy. Business is not for lazy people. Find out, go and ask. Business is not for lazy people. Business success needs your commitment, your total commitment, your total presence, your total monitoring and following up of that business, for that business to be successful. So you can't be lazy. There is a lot more to do to grow a business that a lazy person may not be able to handle. So another thing again you need to avoid as a pitfall in business is inconsistency. You cannot be up today and be down tomorrow. Deliberately. You cannot afford to be up today and not be seen tomorrow. When you put your hands in business, when you start up a business, you need to show up from time to time. Your showing up frequency is what you should define by yourself. I'm not going to define that for you, but you just have to show up once in a week, twice in a week, 3 times in a week, every day of the week, depends on what you are doing. So inconsistency is a pitfall to avoid going into business if you want to be successful. All right. So number 5 is lack of vision. Where are you going? With this business you have put forth, where are you going? Where do you expect to be, or where do you want to be in the future? 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, there must be a vision, a clear vision, a clear pathway of where you are going with that business. This is very important, a clear vision. Okay, so number 6 is about lack of goals and targets per time. Here we are speaking to the metrics, numbers. What do you plan to achieve at this point in time? A year from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. What do you plan to achieve that you will now simplify or break down into smaller tasks, into your daily task achievements? These are your goals and targets. So lack of these will take your business nowhere. There must be things set at strategic point to achieve. And this is what will give you a clear picture to see if your business is growing or not. The metrics, very important. And then again, number 7, speaking to producing what you like instead of what the audience really wants. You just can't go into business because you love cups like these, or maybe you have interest in cups like this. You have to find out. In other words, you go into the market as a result of as part of your research. Find out what is it that the people want, and that is what you should, begin to produce. And that is the kind of service you should package, to offer the people as a solution that resonate with the kind of problem, the kind of challenge they are facing. So you just can't come up with what you like instead of what the people really want. It's something you should look into. So the last one is lack of marketing communication. Lack of marketing communication. This is very important. In the steps of a real business. Marketing is one of the steps of a real business. We talk about product or service, and then you shift to marketing. Very important. After you must have put up a product or a service, you shift to marketing. So marketing is the avenue or the means through which you let the people know, you let the world know about what you are doing. Let the world know what you stand for. That is marketing. What is the product you have, you're offering? What is your service? What is the service you are putting forth, you're offering? Okay? That is marketing. You have to speak up. You have to speak out about what it is you're doing. This is how people will begin to know about you and your offering. This is very important. You have to speak up by all means. In all platforms possible, you have to speak up. In all platforms possible. Take note of this. You have to speak up. Let people know you. Let the world know what you're doing. That will also extend and grow your audience. That will grow your audience. That will grow your reach, the reach of your product, the reach of your service. You have to speak up. So marketing communication is very important. Let the people know what you are doing. Let the people know the value packaged in your product, the value packaged in your service. And that is what will arouse their interest in whatever you have to offer. So marketing communication is very important. So again, if you can do well to avoid all of these pitfalls as a startup, as a starter in business, you will scale. You will be successful and grow your business. Very important. Pay attention to all of these things. Practice them. Now let me tell you something. People hear every day. People listen to teachings every day. But yet, no significant improvement is noticed within and around their lives. Now, have you taken out the time to ask that question? What is now the problem with the human race? With all of this knowledge exposure in our generation, so what is still happening? What is still happening that people are not living, the kind of life they really want to live in the midst of all of these teachings and knowledge exposure? The simple answer to that question is lack of doing. Take note of that. Did you hear what I said? I said lack of doing. People hear a lot without practicing. Now, the truth is, you can hear as much as you will to hear. But if you don't put those things into practice, none of them will yield results. And that is why, the Holy Book says, don't be hearers alone. Be doers of what you're hearing. Put them into practice. That is where the result is. Or that is where the fruits are hidden. The results are hidden in practice. The results of whatever you are hearing, whatever field you are into, they are hidden in the practicing of those principles. Because if you refuse to practice those principles, there is nothing like results to be seen. Take note of all of these things. And that is why I told you, again, it will be very wise to find out what you really want. It is your responsibility to be able to identify what exactly it is that you really want to do with your life. Whatever you want to do with your life, there are people speaking in that direction. There are people offering services in that direction. There are people teaching and coaching in that direction. Identify them, stick with them, and then as you learn from them every day, put those things into practice. Do them. Practice by doing them. You can't just believe without doing. And again, it says, the Holy Book says, if you believe, in other words, if you have faith without work, such a faith is dead. Do you understand that? So you have to put into practice whatever you're hearing, whatever you're learning, whatever sort of teaching you're following. Everything is exposed. Nothing is hidden these days. Nothing is hidden these days. Just that we are not practicing. All right? So that is very important. Another thing again I want to leave with you is overthinking is a killer. Overthinking is a killer, right? Be as swift as you can. Make a decision in starting up anything. If you think around an idea too long, you begin to see impossibilities, things that will make that idea, not to see the light of the day. So as soon as you are able to birth a new idea, make a little research around it, and you are convinced, have so many reasons that that idea will prevail, that idea will prosper, that idea will grow, then go into it immediately. Start it up immediately. If you think too much around it, before you know it, it will slip off your mind, because you begin to see fears around why this idea will not work. So many reasons it will not stand. So many reasons, like you have so many people, so many out there doing the same thing, and they have not been able to make it. So what makes you feel that you will make it, or what makes you feel that yours will be different? When you begin to hear things like that, forget about it. The vibe, the fire, the spirit to kickstart that idea will disappear from you. So as soon as you birth idea, little research around it, be convinced, and launch it. Then as you progress, you begin to learn. You begin to learn as you fall, as you fail. You rise, you learn, and then you progress. You begin to grow. Time is of importance here. So that is it. I think I have to stop here. And I believe you must have learned a lot from this session. And again, do not forget to be part of this journey by subscribing, follow, and then also tell it to your friends and let them also be part of this. That in this platform we help 9-to-5 workers, individuals who are ready to start up business and then begin their journey to financial freedom through a building of wealth. All right? Very important. Thank you once again for your time. Hope to see you again.